You mentioned Castaneda, and you are part, your books are part of a grand tradition, of sort of magical realism and of the power of myths and fables.
Myths and fables are, in my opinion, metaphors of our lives. Would you like to have some water?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
No?
Not unless you're going to put some whiskey in it.
Also classical, Scottish tradition.
What's the point of having a stereotype if you're not going to conform to it? Thank you.
So, well, I think that from the very dawn of mankind, we try to record our history through epopées, odysseys. Normally it is a journey, and it is a metaphorical journey. You can go from the Ramayana to the Odyssey, whatever. We try to record this journey not as I met you or I met you, but I met this magical entity that summarizes, is a kind of archetype of our inner experiences. So the hippie movement helped me, not when you talk about the magical realism in South America. This was very good to put a label in our literature. But our literature can be very realistic, and your literature can be very magical. So it depends on how the writer sees the world. I never saw myself as a person who writes on this so-called magical realism style. I always see myself as someone who is trying to use our inner conflicts in a metaphoric sense. So I may use an alchemist, yes, but I can use a prostitute also, like in 11 minutes. But describing our attitude towards life. What we are very good in South America is not having this wall that separates our emotions from the physical reality. So when you look to a glass of water, you think, okay, this is a glass of water, but you also think someone thought about how to design this glass, and this was a thought before becoming a glass of water. What does this water come from? Who was there to pick this water? And this is what is magical about drinking this water. It's not because it's just because I'm thirsty. It's also because there is a lot of labor involved in this simple act of drinking water.
And that takes us on to another question from the audience, from Ian Ferguson. And you've answered it partly, but he asks, and I'm sure everyone is interested, just how much of yourself is in your stories?
Well, I would say 100%, meaning again that I never been a shepherd boy, for example. Like in The Alchemist, I never been a prostitute. But at the same time, my unconscious mind is there. So the fact that I use this character or that character, I've never been an alchemist and I never will be. He's much wiser than I am. So that's why when the book was first published, well, offered to HarperCollins US, not UK, because my publisher from UK are here.
They're fine people, HarperCollins.
They are. And they are very supportive. So they got the book, and they said, first, we don't have this tradition of being translated. So Brazilian author, they expect something about Copacabana, samba, football, and it was about Islam, it was about Spain, it was about shepherd boy and an alchemist. And they read the book and they said, well, it is a very good book. We're going to give a chance to this book, but the title is not very good because there is no alchemist. The alchemist only appears at the end. So we would like to change the title, and they choose The Shepherd and His Dream, which I think it is a horrible title. What do you think?
The Shepherd and His Dream, yeah, it doesn't soar.
No. So I said, no, it should be The Alchemist. And they said, but you're a newcomer, you don't understand the market. This is always the excuse when they want to impose your ideas on you. And I was 41 or 42, and they said, it should be The Shepherd and His Dream, otherwise we're not going to put a significant budget to promote the book. And I said, you don't do that, but I have to be convinced that this was the title. I took years thinking about the title. This is the title, so it remained the title. Having said that, they took away the preface, the foreword. They say, am I elaborating too much?
No.
In the literary publishing world?
No, trust me, they would much rather listen to you than listen to me.
No, but then the first, I don't know, the edition, if you had the first editions of The Alchemist and then if you had the other editions, after I sold 100,000 copies, I can impose something. So put the preface back. And they said, well, it's not good to start a book with an Oscar Wilde story. I know that he's not Scottish, he's Irish. But
Kindred spirits.
but then they put the preface back. So